What's up, everybody? Welcome to Value Town, episode 65. I'm ChanManV, got the crew here as usual, Noxious, Reynad, and we've got a special guest today, Dog, who hasn't been on the show for a while, so this is good stuff having you back on, man. Ooh.
Things like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So
We kind of all have like different reasons to be here, right? Like ChanMan's hosting. Reynad likes to hear himself talk, and I just like to, argue with Reynad about the stuff that he says. And I guess you're here to talk about stuff for real. So
Okay.
you're a welcome guest on the show, Dog.
A welcome change of pace. Yeah, I guess that's true. Reynad, how you been, man? Enjoying that
good,
lunch?
dude.
Enjoying that lunch, man?
Yeah, what better time than right when you start the show to start eating?
I
Yeah, I've been good. I got back from like the 5 days of casting thing, trying to catch up on streaming lately. That's about it.
Yeah. Oh, 5 days. I forgot it was like that long, man.
It's all rehearsal days and stuff. It was only
Yeah.
3 days of broadcast.
Yeah. But it was good seeing you guys, man. It was great, like hanging out and everything last week. But lots to talk about. I mean, obviously lots of things that we found out, and then everybody in the community found out 2 days later, which was it was interesting. But lots of cards since then too that have been released that we were going to get a chance to talk about today. Kind of going old school Value Town, just analyzing some of these cards and what we think about them. But we'll be doing that as well as talking about the America Winners Champion, that championship that happened this past week.
One thing I need to hold you though before you keep going. Apparently, Reynad might be turned up too high.
Oh yeah. I just turned him down.
Just a heads up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just turned him down a little bit, but
Keep going.
Yeah, we'll be talking about the championships, America and EU. EU is gonna be this weekend too, and I don't think you're casting that, right, Ray? Or are you part of that?
Oh no, I couldn't do back weeks because it's just too much time away from streaming and stuff. I've got events coming up.
Yeah.
But Dan's actually packing to leave to go back up there right now, so he'll leave in like half an hour or something. And it's gonna be like 3 weeks of work in a row for like Dan and I think TJ. I'm not sure who else is doing them.
It's here. It's there though, right at the studios.
Yeah, they're flying in the Europeans to Hollywood, so it'll be the same studio as the North American broadcast.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, they're definitely hard workers, and we definitely appreciate them. We're doing all these events because it would be an event without Frodan. I can't even imagine, man. So, definitely cool. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, and then of course Q&A, guys. At the very end of the show, tweet your questions to ValueTownGG. And follow the channel too if you haven't followed it already. I'm like terrible at plugging that channel, but that's I try to tweet from there whenever we have Value Town news, and then do the whole retweet from our accounts and that sort of thing. So
Individual stuff.
Yeah, trying to get more following, I guess, to that specific channel if you're only interested in Value Town and none of the other shows that I do. But okay, so just talk about, I guess, Hearthstone. I mean, obviously we've talked a little bit about it. You've been doing a lot of the, you were doing the event most of the week. But anything else cool happened this week in, I guess, Hearthstone for you guys?
I don't know, dude. I don't think I've ever played that little Hearthstone in a long time because I just feel like laddering is not as fun for me right now. And I guess it came off of the announcement that they made about the expansion coming out. Not immediately, unlike League of Explorers, giving us kind of a long wait time. And that on its own, I thought, was just going to be a little boring. And the first week, I just gave myself a little bit of a break. I feel like I can actually enjoy it now. Like, if I went today to play, I think I'd have some fun.
Yeah.
Before.
Okay. Yeah. How about Dog? How about you, man? Since you've been back. What you been into?
Well, I've just been streaming a lot, and Hearthstone, it's I don't know. Knowing the nerfs are coming, it's not very fun to play specific classes. So I've just kind of been messing around with like stupid decks because like now I feel like I'm more incentivized to troll with my decks because it's the middle of the season. I know cards are getting nerfed. There's going to be a new expansion soon. So I don't know. Just been messing around with like OTK decks, I guess.
That's cool.
Yeah, OTK. It's fun. What class have you been doing with OTK?
I did Exodia Mage last night. That was fun. That's just
nice.
the Infinite Fireball. Yeah.
Nice. All right, that's fun. I can see it being like hard to be motivated. You still have to get to you
Yeah.
still have to like try for points. So it can be. I can see it being difficult for all the top players. Ray, how about you, man? Been back streaming couple of days. Like what you been streaming?
Played a lot of Control Warrior, some Druid. Pretty boring decks to be honest, but
Yeah, good
I
though.
don't know.
Good though.
I've already tried so much weird stuff in the past 2 months that, I don't know. Just might as well play real decks for a couple days. It's more uncommon for me to play real decks, I think, than weird ones. So that's
Yeah.
what I've been doing for the past couple days, and then yeah, I don't know. I was really like discouraged when we heard the release date for the expansion because I was like way further away than I was hoping it would be.
Yeah.
But it's also a ton of cards, and it gives them a bunch of time to do card reveals and market it the right way. And the more I thought about it, like League of Explorers was like a super frustrating release for me because
Really?
we just came off of the grand tournament, and there were like no playable cards because GVG and Nax were broken. So like none of the cards from Grand Tournament got used, and then we wait months and months and months for more content. And then League of Explorers, and they announce it right away, but it's an adventure, so you only get like the first week of like they announced it. Yeah, you get to play next week, but it was like only the first wing.
Okay,
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
The
I know what
first
you mean
wing
now.
sucked on top of that, I think. And then they
That's-
wait
Well,
another week.
They gave us Reno
You wait
first.
another-
Right? They gave us
Reno,
first.
but you didn't get the
One of
rest.
weeks sucked. I forgot which one.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you wait a week, and then you get another one, and then they had the fucking holiday break in the middle for 2 more weeks.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it ended up being like a month and a half
Okay.
before we got to play with all the cards anyway. So it's not really any different from this.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I kind of did forget that, just the whole one dungeon per week kind of thing. And they gave us Reno first, so I think everybody went nuts on the first week, and then just like the subsequent weeks were they're definitely a lot less. And you're right, Ray. There was one week there was absolutely nothing, so it was pretty bad.
Genie of Zephyrs, I think that was like it was a really bad
Yeah.
week. Plus, I mean, I feel like with the new content we're getting in the whole rotation, yes,
Yeah.
we're gonna get the new expansion, but I feel like revisiting TGT is gonna be a big part of the exploration process because that expansion basically got untouched. Not because every single card was useless, because it's super well designed. I think I think that set has some of the
Really?
best, most balanced cards that have okay effects in them, but it's just missing the OP-ness that the other sets had. So yeah, revisiting that is going to be great.
Oh,
It's going to be more than
TGT.
just the new expansion.
TGT is the Inspire one, right? So
Yeah, Inspire.
if you make those cards overpowered, it's pretty bad because it's just going to be a snowball effect, and whoever plays the first Inspire card wins. So you
Sure.
don't really want to make
Yeah.
Inspire cards too powerful. What they did with it, I think, is like perfectly fine. Like Murloc Knight is like an awesome example of that. Like it's such a good card, but it doesn't see that much play, but it still sees some play, right? And that's like how you want to do Inspire mechanics. Because if you make them too strong, it's just going to be whoever plays it first and
Yeah.
whoever can snowball the board, and that's like not fun at all.
I still blame Blizzard for making Fencing Coach a 2/2. Like, you know how they are making all these Cthulhu cards like on tempo playable?
Yeah.
Right? Like they're making
Yeah.
2/3s and 3/4s, and I'm still really angry about Fencing Coach because when I saw the card, when they even talked about the mechanic, I was expecting something like Fencing Coach. The problem is like it's so terrible on curve, you just can't even justify it. But right now, with the new set, I'm happy what they're doing. I just wish they revisit maybe Fencing Coach alone to make Inspire
Yeah.
playable.
Yeah, if he has the 3/3, that would actually have a really
Yeah.
big effect.
Yeah. I've tried that card out a lot, and it's about the only way you can play some of those Inspire
pretty much.
cards. Yeah. Some of the really good ones, so the ones that make the most sense, and too, like the Shaman one, and some of the, and maybe even Paltras too. I mean, Paltras is
Right.
like one of the most fun cards, and it just instantly dies. Like literally the turn, it's automatic death. There's almost no way to keep it alive for more than a turn. So it's always, you have to wait so long for it. But wait, so we're already jumping into Whispers of the Old God, so we might as well start talking about it. You did talk a little bit about the marketing of it, Ray, and I think that's one of the biggest things, right? We've been talking about just having to wait this long, and they went back to. It was TGT the last time that they basically revealed one card at a time. They had the whole voting thing on the website, that whole bit. Was that TGT?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, that was the
TGT.
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of going back to this type of thing. At least we're not voting. Gosh, that part was just, I didn't make any sense to me. Where we'd have to vote and then they would reveal based on what we voted for.
No.
So at least we don't have to do that. But they are going more towards that, where we're revealing one at a time. And I wonder if they're just going to reveal every single one by the time the date gets here, like all 134 cards. I'm pretty curious because it seems like we're getting like two cards a day or something like that right now.
Yeah, like every single community is getting stuff to publish.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. So I don't
Yeah.
know. You guys like this? You guys like this kind of marketing, or would you just prefer just all come out at once?
It's
I
both,
think it's
I
great.
guess.
You think
Yeah.
it's
I
good?
like how they're
Okay.
getting the community and more involved. They're not just doing like press anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Like before, it used to just be PC gamer type of things. Now they're doing community sites and they're doing like streamers. That'll be really good, I think, for the game overall.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that too. Let's see. So we were, obviously we got a chance to go and hang out a little bit last week, and before just the whole announcement. Anything particular that you guys, like I guess wanted to talk about that's come from the announcement that revolving around Whispers of the Old Gods. I think by now the whole community knows just all the dates. For those of you maybe that don't, the release and standard and the whole standard versus wild change is going to be coming late April, early May. There's not an exact date like named yet, but it's going to be in that range. So another 6 weeks or so. But other than that, I think Noxious, you had a few things, right, just pertaining to the expansion.
What do you mean?
Or just just some thoughts on maybe some of the change that we've seen. I mean, one thing I could mention is the deck slots, right? We finally see the deck
Right.
slots.
Good Lord.
And we're seeing some of the UI changes, right, in preparation for it.
Yeah. So it's frustrating to me because as someone who likes to think about UI, like obviously, not everybody cares about UI. It's such a boring part of gaming, I guess. But when you look at Hearthstone's UI, like there was a lot of stuff to improve on. They've done like a good job. They've included my collection links on the like the adventure mode page, the regular page, so that there's like a lot of stuff that they've improved on. But I don't get deck slots and the way they were implemented. Like if it took so long to implement, and the thing is, it's tied to deck recipes, obviously, right? The idea of having a full basic deck for you to modify right off the bat instead of making your own from scratch, so it's easier for new players. But I don't understand how that took so long to do. Like I can't even comprehend. Like if they added sub menus, let's say you click the rogue icon and then there's like 9 slots for rogue, or you click the paladin icon and there's 9 slots for paladin, or that only starts when you reach like you make 5 paladin decks, it starts creating a sub menu. No, there's literally nothing else in the scroll bar, and that kind of irks me a bit. I feel like we've just been laughed at for I don't know. I don't know, dude.
They want to make things really simple, right? Like, and it takes a lot of testing with like a bunch of new people and things like that. I mean, we're like the top percent, right, who play like every single day, and we kind of want that stuff. But at the same time, there's like this giant portion of new players that don't want to be overwhelmed by like all these buttons and things like that. I think it requires a lot of testing and.
Yeah, I get that. I just feel like that's one of the few aspects about UI that I can't imagine somebody messing up, like a scroll bar.
Yeah, I can't believe they didn't add the scroll bar. That's kind of ridiculous to me. That's pretty funny.
Like that's the only thing that kind of irks me is if it had been a bit more than that. Anyway, it's a minor issue. I don't even know why I'm harping on it. First world problems, much, dude. It's one of those things that. Just,
you're hoping
I feel
for
like
more.
they could have done more.
Right.
They could have done
hoping
so
for
much
more.
more.
They just that. They said they it didn't take long to implement it. They were just debating on whether they even should.
Yeah.
That was the big issue. And I think it's really bad to develop a habit of like complaining about a lack of deck slots for 2 years, and then as soon as they're out, complaining that it didn't come faster. It's just like a really
I guess so. I'm just like a spoiled kid at this point. Like ultimately, I'm happy there's deck slots. I just find it like the arguments they brought up toward like during the working on deck slots. Maybe the wording was weird.
Well, I think Ben on his stream, I think a couple of days ago, has talked a bit about it, and like Andrew said, he said that it was super easy to implement. It was just the decision was just more about the big decision. Was
it's
just whether
UI.
to do
it's
it
a UI issue.
No, it's just whether to do it or not, and they finally decided, we should do it, and they just did it real quick. So it's nothing too crazy about it. But
all right,
maybe in the future though, we'll probably get some innovations to that too. Just
and deck recipes are cool though.
So, what'd you guys think about that?
I'll give him that.
You guys get a chance to look at the deck recipes? I kind of used it just to get shit started, when I was building a new deck, just quickly. But that's about it so far for me.
I was using them last night. Some of them are pretty good. The handlock one,
yeah,
really like well built, and I went like 5-0 with it last night.
Oh,
on
just the
ladder.
straight one, just the one that they.
Yeah,
Oh
just
wow.
to the
Okay.
handlock one that they gave, and
Yeah.
the what else is good? The Malagos one is off by a couple cards because they added Burgles for some reason. But the ones on the far right are like usually really good.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
Shaman one I went like 0-4 with because it was like mid range Shaman.
It's
But yeah,
Shaman.
they're pretty well built. I'm kind of impressed. I wonder if the cards missing, because like for instance, Handlock doesn't have Iron Beak Owl. I wonder if the cards missing are indicative of like what's going to be nerfed
Oh,
because
that's
it's like
interesting.
post standard. Yeah.
Was BGH in any of those decks? that you
BGH
played?
was.
Oh
BGH
no!
was.
Oh no! Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna just cost more, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
know.
just gonna be some kind of I guess that's not they're not gonna remove cards necessarily. They're just gonna change them up a little bit, right?
Giants are still in there. Then that's what it means, dude. Giants
Yeah.
are sticking around. Really?
Well, maybe he's just he's just speculating.
Yeah, it might-
Well, I mean, if the deck was, I mean, I guess they put Murkai in the Paladin deck, so
Okay, Ray, you try it out. Try out those deck recipes.
I go to tempestrome.com.
Oh God!
I haven't gotten a chance.
but that's where they took the deck. That's where they took the decks from, Reynad.
Exactly right.
Like,
They're using
we
the
don't play Burgle. Burgle is not a Tempestrum approved card.
Tempestorm has their own APIs that Blizzard actually uses. It's not like vice versa, right? Have it actually
Good
plug
lord.
straight into the game. All right, well, lots of cards have been released. Man, there's been a bunch even just the last 3 days. So why don't we start talking about some of these cards? Some of them announced last week, and let me flip over to it. And the cards I have, I guess, up right now. Wait a second, you guys can see the stream too. Is Cthulhu, as well as 3 of the cards that are specifically about Cthulhu and not class based. We're gonna say, I guess, the cards that are class specific for towards the end. But I want to get your thoughts on Cthulhu. Just generally, do you think it's a good card? Can you see it being viable? Ray, you want to start off?
Yeah, it looks like a really fun card to play with, and it plays differently in every different class. But then the more I'm looking at, like, the more I think about it, and the more I think about, like, the cards they're revealing lately, like the class-specific Cthulhu cards, the less playable I think this card is. Like, I mean, I'll end up doing a set review, but, like, I feel like with Beckoner of Evil... Well, let's start with Cthulhu, I guess. Yes, you play him and you blow up their board. That's great. You have to live till turn 10, and then you're still vulnerable to direct damage after you play him. So it's like questionable that you can set up a board state where you play it. But let's say you play it, and he's a really big minion. You can kind of expect it to get dealt with. I mean, even if they nerf Silence and BGH, like, there's going to be something. If Cthulhu ever becomes too dominant, something like Assassinate might even see play, or like Sabotage or Deadly Shot, Hunter's Mark, all these things. So anyway, Cthulhu is like kind of mediocre to begin with, I think, just because he's so big and clunky. But then like all of these early game minions that look really good are actually like kind of underpowered in the best case scenario. Because if you look at like Beckoner of Evil, it's a 2-mana 2/3, and at the very best, like the best effect it can have, the best case scenario is on turn 10, you get 2/3 of an arcane missile off of it. Like that's what the battle cry is providing you.
Yeah.
Like 8 turns later, you get 2 extra damage. Because it doesn't really matter if Cthulhu's like 14-14 or 16-16. They either have the answer or they don't. It's the same size. So functionally, it's like a vanilla 2/3 with like some tiny chance of a tiny upside later on.
interesting.
Twilight Elders like Spider Tank with, again, it's just like it takes so long to get value out of their effect, like that it's not worth playing a below curve minion, I guess. In Twilight Elder's case, he's like pretty solid, I guess,
Yeah, his
since
body's
Death
pretty
Sprite's
good.
rotating out. But in Beckoner of Evil's case, it's like you'd rather be playing something with upside. So if you compare these cards to something like Flame Waker, it's like you get a missile for every spell you play. Like it's just a 3-mana card that wins the game on its own.
Yeah.
But then here you're like hoping for, a Flame Waker trigger 8 turns later. So I'm really skeptical, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Doc, what do you think?
Well,
These 4
they
cards.
can't make the cards too powerful, otherwise every Cthulhu deck would look the same. So I kind of like how they did it. I mean, the minions are statted appropriately, I would say. and it seems like it could be okay. Of course, not every deck's going to be able to play Cthulhu. Uh,
Mhm.
we'll just have to see what other cards get released with it. Right now, the cards, as Reynad said, yeah, I mean, a 2-mana 2/3. I don't think I've ever seen one of those played and constructed, like ever. So,
Darnassus, or do you mean just vanilla?
Darnassus is the only one
Yeah,
I think.
Darnassus.
Everyone wants 2-mana 3/2s because they trade up. At least
Yeah.
they trade up with Shredder. And it also depends what the stat lines are for minions. But we'll have to just see when new cards come out and how they're going to interact. I mean, the Ancient Shield Bearer already looked pretty cool, right? That was
Yeah.
like what,
Yeah,
10
we're gonna see
armor?
that in a second.
That's
yeah,
a
we're-
lot.
Yeah, we're definitely
Yeah.
gonna see that in a second.
Yeah, you're gonna get to that.
Mm.
But yeah, it depends. In Cthulhu, like the battle cry itself, yeah, I agree. You could probably get them up to like 2020 if you really tried. And that's not very good, but at the same time, it does clear their board. And if you can like go with like some type of cheesy mechanic like Shadow Step, or you vanish all your stuff and replay it. I mean, that's not very practical. But at the same time, I'm sure there's going to be like some way to kind of abuse it. So maybe that'll be cool. I don't know that it'll be strong enough to play in like every class or anything. It'll just be like kind of a fun side deck, and the minions, we'll see how they're statted.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, Noxious, I know you were talking about the Cthulhu Servant being a little, I guess, a bit analogous to, or at least
It's
similar to
Shreddery.
Shredder. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't ever actually think about it when I first saw it like that, but I guess I could kind of see it.
I mean,
just with the Divine Shield.
here's the
being
deal,
like a
though.
minion.
Like the problem with Shredder is that you couldn't actually clear their board because whatever you killed came back. The thing is, in this case, you can mitigate the Divine Shield with only 1 damage instead of 3.
Yeah, sure.
So like it's very different in that function. The thing is, like let's say Druid ends up keeping Savage Roar, right? Like I don't know what they're keeping when they're not. Let's assume Savage Roar doesn't change and Force of Nature does because Blizzard doesn't like charge. Then you could literally just build a normal Druid deck. Well, not normal, but a Cthulhu Druid deck using Roar as a win condition, and Cthulhu is basically your 1-card combo at the end of the game, right? It's like one of those things where you just build up to that. You either win through tempo because you still have all the ramp tools for the most part, and then I don't know. I feel like you could do a lot of work with that. So maybe it won't work in every single class, and maybe the cards are a bit clunky. But that 4-drop that they have, not only the 4/5 Yeti that also can become like an Ancient of War, but that 4/2 a Divine Shield. I feel like just for a class like Druid is going to be completely busted. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, there is definitely a Druid card that came out too that we'll be talking about in
Yeah.
a second. But okay, that's definitely interesting. What do you guys think about just generally the design of investing? I guess like investing 16 cards, I think they said, into like this one card Cthulhu, right? I mean, they don't have any synergistic value like say a tribal type of set would have. It's like Murlocs, right? Murlocs have synergies amongst themselves, so you can kind of see that playing those cards set, without just this single powerful card like a Murkai or something like that. But with this, I mean, you literally have to invest X number of cards into one hero, and it's the first time they've done this. So I kind of wanted to see, and for me, it's a little bit risky. Like it's definitely a potential. At least, the very least, it's fun, right? But it is the first time I feel like they've it made you invest like X number of cards into a specific type of build, or at least a specific hero or a champion type of thing, and or boss type of thing with Cthulhu. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Ray? Any I don't know. Does it seem odd to you, or does it seem like a good idea to you, just having this different type of design?
I'm glad they're doing the design because this is something you can only do in Hearthstone. So no other card games can really do it.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like whether it'll actually end up being playable, we'll see. But I like that it's a unique design. I really like the concept of it. I think it'll be fun to play with, and it's very like everything about it is like so good for getting casual players excited about the expansion and standard. So
yeah,
I think this is a great way to do it. Like whether or not Cthulhu ends up seeing competitive play. Yeah, I think it's great implementation.
I mean, they're giving it to us too. I mean, they're giving it to everybody too, just so that that's kind of one of the things tied into the design, is that everybody will get a chance to see Cthulhu get ramped up, because everybody gets 2 Beckoners and a Cthulhu right off the bat,
right
after you buy the packs, right? So that's going to be cool. All right, let's move on to the next set of cards.
Hold on, one sec. We should talk about this Cthulhu Servant card. This just
okay.
came out.
Oh, okay.
Right?
You didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah,
I
that's what I
thought
was
you just
talking
skipped
about.
over it because it was just like it's like not that great.
I just talked about this
No,
a
I
second
missed.
ago.
Yeah,
It was
Put it on the
crazy.
screen. But your question was just how good is Cthulhu? And it wasn't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
how good is
Sure,
Cthulhu
sure.
Servant. That card's really interesting because there's no there's never been a card with like that stat line printed before. And if you look at Divine Shield, it gets like progressively more valuable the more attack your minion has.
Mhm.
So like Divine Shield on Force Tank is worth like 2 mana probably, whereas on like a Scarlet Crusader it's worth like 1 mana. So I don't know. I feel like the fact this thing has all the right stats, it doesn't die to 1 damage hero powers, makes it like this could be like the new Shredder sort of. It's super strong. I think. I don't know.
Oh, that would be bad if it was, man.
Dog,
I really,
That
think
would
it
be
is.
really bad if it is. Dog, you have the same similar thoughts on Servant?
Well, there are going to be a lot less tokens, so people are going to be like not running as many like 1 damage AoEs and things like that. So Divine Shield will probably get out 2 mana for your hero power, and
Ouch.
it's not 1 HP after that. So
Yep.
I agree, it's pretty like strongly statted. It might see play outside of Cthulhu decks, but at the same time, we'll just have to see. I don't know. I have to see all the other minions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's move on then. Let's move on to the next set of cards, which, whoops, let me get that off there. So this set of cards I'm gonna be putting on the screen are the theme, one of the themes that they have, which is essentially modified versions of cards that we have. You know, corrupted ones or polluted, versions. And these are some of the first cards that we saw from this set, which are Corrupted Healbot, Validated Doomsayer, and Polluted Hoarders. Polluted Hoarder. You can actually see how they've been manipulated. Any thoughts on these cards and just the theme of it, Noxious?
You mean the aesthetic of it?
Or just, the theme of it? Yeah, just the theme of it. Dude, what do you think?
Okay,
it's like,
sure. Well, I think to me the biggest one is Hogger. Obviously, that's the coolest of them all. But I like the idea that they're making those crazy cards refer to some of the older ones. The thing is that even the name of Polluted Hoarder, like when I asked and I pressed them, I'm like, this is a wordplay, right? And it took Mike Donay about like 4 months into development to figure it out. But it was a wordplay because apparently Pollute Hoarder is a wordplay, and that aesthetic alone, the fact they're pushing that reference to the old stuff, is kind of nice. Like it's a good throwback. Mechanically, though, I don't think it matters at all. All it gives you is like buffier minions that do something similar to the old ones, but with Healbot, you have a completely different effect. So like I don't really care either way. I think it's cute, but that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking that we're gonna. I don't think they said the number of cards are gonna be like this, but I'm
No.
thinking like a big number of cards. There's been some people saying in Reddit like they think this is lazy design. What are your thoughts on that? That comment, Doc?
I don't think it's lazy. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
nice. It has a theme, and it really like, I don't know. It kind of makes me excited, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Cards are okay.
It looks
They're
good.
not anything special right now.
Yeah. Any of them stand out to you guys, like as being, you could see being good in a particular class or just a particular archetype? Ray?
Is he dead?
Oh, I think he's frozen.
I was like, this is.
I was like,
some
wow, he's like
statue
statues.
still.
Exactly. I don't know. Either of you guys, you see this?
The
being
fact that
good
you
in-
couldn't tell is actually just a sign of awesome, I guess. The fact that he can actually pull it off on a regular basis enough that we
Yeah.
think he's there.
Yeah.
I think honestly, Hogger is better than people give him credit for. Like he's not
The
as bad as Trogzor. I think he's better than Trogzor, for some like weird reasons.
Yeah.
He might be slow. I don't know. I don't think he's a very good card.
It's not amazing,
Corrupted Healbot's not bad. I
Right.
mean, if
You
you're going
have to
for a
be
control
playing
deck, no. If you're going for a control deck and you get a 5 mana 6/6, that's a lot of like good stats for
It's
not that
insane.
much cost, and
Yeah.
you don't really have to pressure him if you're a control deck anyways. So I feel like
You play
that's
Cthulhu.
Yeah. You play
and
Cthulhu.
polluted hoarder is also kind of interesting. It adds another cycle card to your deck, but a playable cycle card, right? Like the stats on it are terrible. I don't think it'll see play, but at that point, like some classes need enough cycle to pull off combos, and
Mhm.
this just gives you like another cycle card that's an option. And having the option for a cycle card is really good because eventually there's going to be decks where it's just like play like 20 cycle cards and then pull
Yeah.
off your 10 card combo.
Right.
Right now, there aren't enough cycle cards to do that. There's only like Drake, Gnomish, Loot, Novice.
Mhm.
They gave us a chicken or something.
Yeah, the experimenter. Good lord.
Yeah, so I'm glad they're adding more card draw options, and I'm glad that they're not like super strong. Like this one's pretty weakly statted, I would say.
Yeah. the Doomsayer, I wish there wasn't, I wish there weren't cabals in this, in the game, and I wish there wasn't like Shadow Word Pain, because I actually like the way that it's designed, and I kind of referenced it a few weeks ago when we were talking about it, Noxious. That I feel like those type of cards, right? When we were talking about how OP some of those cards were, or were design limiting, because there could
I was
be,
angry about Cabal. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we were all. I mean, I think we could all agree with Cabal, but even Shadow Word Pain for me was just like, I wish it wasn't like that, because you can't make 5 or 6 mana cards that are very low attack and some crazy cool text because of it, right? And I think this is the case with that too. I think Doomsayer is just like crap, man. It's as much as you can answer on the first turn, it's like even worse because it can be answered with a single card. Hey, welcome back, man. Oh, I think Ray's. Hold on.
He's not
Still
hearing
can't
you.
hear us.
He's not even listening to you.
He's.
I'm back in.
Hey,
All right, welcome back.
welcome back. All right, let me.
We
get
had a
these
question for
scans
you, but we
back.
forgot what it was.
We forgot what it was.
Oh yeah, it had to do about what do you thought about the fact that like all the cards, like how many cards we're going to be getting that are going to be corrupted versions of the old stuff. Like, what do you think about that aesthetic? And like, do you think it's something that should expand on?
Yeah.
In a nutshell, that was the question basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that they. I don't know how to put it. I like the theme of it. I think it is a very cool design, and people like familiarity, and it's a good way to do it like thematically for a card. I think it's adds really good flavor to the set. What I don't disagree, or the thing I do disagree with though, is that these were the cards they decided to like showcase first. Like
Right.
the Whispers of the Old Gods reveal, it's like the announcement of a new expansion, standard format. It's what everyone's been waiting for. Like, regardless of what cards they revealed, people would have been super hyped. Clearly, because all of these suck except for Hogger, and people were like super hyped about them. So I really think they should have taken the opportunity to like start off with like Hogger maybe, or like
Yeah.
it's like a different polluted card, like something that more competitive players and more casual players can be behind all at once. Whereas they just kind of showed us like 2 5-drops, which are like super comparable in roles in that they cost 5 mana, we'll never see play, and then like loot hoarder, or polluted hoarder, which is. I get that it's like a really familiar concept and it's a good way to showcase the whole corrupted thing. I just think like for that first announcement for Whispers of the Old Gods, they should have shown a bit more exciting cards. But I like the theme. I think it's a cool way to design cards for sure.
So you just mentioned that Hogger you thought was a good card,
Yeah, I
and
think it's good.
you just said that you didn't like that card, right? So
Let's argue.
maybe we should debate this card a little bit. Ray, why do you like the card so much?
I think it'll be core and patron, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, even without Despite, card is pretty strong. Even in wild, like with Despite, it's really strong. It looks really bad. I don't know. When I first saw it, I'm like on the fence, and then I thought it was like kind of bad. But the more I think about it, the more playable I think it is. You just need like the right enablers to go with it. I guess it's really hard to kill. That's the thing. You can't.
You can't
Use damage.
translate it very
You
well.
can't
Yeah,
exactly because
yeah.
you need like 1/6 attack or more minion, right?
Well, the thing is, if you have multiple minions, it's like, well, I mean, let's say you have like 2 3/3s. They don't even trade into it. Like
Yeah.
you attack, and then there's a taunt
The
in the
taunt
way.
comes. Yeah.
It's actually like really interesting. And then if the thing is, if it lives, it's not like you're just running it into their stuff. Like worst case, that's what you're doing, which is still pretty good for you. But you can also enable it with whirlwind effects and all that kind of stuff. I actually think it has like a lot of potential. Like mostly because the Knolls have taunt. That's the main reason.
Yep.
They're really strong.
Okay, let's move on to the next set of cards, which we have. Let me bring them up. Okay, and these. Okay, the next card actually, just one card I have is Eater of Secrets. So this is the card that you guys announced at the championships, and I know your reaction when you guys announced it was just like, I think the exact quote was meh, which I think. And then
I was
immediately,
being positive on
yeah,
stream.
you're being positive.
I said meh because I didn't want to, I don't want to be like negative Nancy. But this card is complete and utter trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I agree. It's pretty bad, but it gives you the option to have a card like Kazan that's not as swingy, and it's good against Freeze Mage or something like that, which I like. I mean, having the option is always nice.
There definitely needs to be some anti-secret card in the format for sure. But yeah, so it's like it's necessary to exist. I just don't think it'll ever like see play.
Yeah, this one seems to favor. This one's definitely better against Secret Paladin than Kazan, right? If you're comparing it to Kazan works a lot better against
Kazan's
Mage.
better.
Yeah, Mage and Hunter, and then playing it too, getting to play the Secret essentially, and having it swing so hugely is definitely. You think Kazan's better even against Secret Paladin?
Yeah, Kazan's better in every matchup, I think. Because
Okay.
they're gonna like run out of secret on turn 3 or something or 4 with Secret Paladin most of the time. So you play your Kazan, and then their Noble Sacrifice can like mess with their Shredder attack or something. It's actually really swingy in the mid game. Whereas this, it's like, I mean, are you gonna wait until they play Challenger to play this? What if you just have to have something on curve and you play it, you blow up their secret, you get a 3/5. It's great value, but it's not like exceptional. Whereas Kazan's just a blowout every time. And then after they challenger you and they have 4 secrets in play, it's like, okay, they played a 6/6, pulled all the garbage out of their deck. You played a 6/8, which is cool. They still get the first attack. Like, they're still in a better position. Even if you eat all of their secrets, they're still in the lead because they probably had the board before then. Even if they didn't, I would rather have the 6/6 instead of the 6/8 if the 6/6 gets to attack first. So I actually think this isn't even like good against Secret Paladin. I just
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. Against like Ice Block or something though, tools like this are necessary, but
Yeah,
I
still
don't know.
functions the same. I mean, yeah, they both eliminate a secret. So against Ice Block, it's I don't think that's a big difference.
The thing about hate cards like this is like these are the cards that noobs get the most excited about. They think it's like so incredible. There's these cards that like when they get spoiled where like most of the time they're really bad, but in the best case scenario, there's like nutty. And then like people always just like the worse the player is, the more he's thinking of this like magical world where it happens. But then like with this card scenario, even in the like world where they go challenger and then you eat their secrets, you still lose, I think.
Yeah, I think
not
so.
100%.
I'd venture because they have Keeper Voldemon, dude. Like they don't give a fuck. The Keeper Voldemon is just play outdoor. Like you're just dead. It doesn't matter. God damn it, that card.
You eliminate all their trash and win drops. Dog, you feel that strongly about that? I mean, because
I agree. It's not going to be that great against Secret Paladin. I just think it's a less swingy Kazan, and I think it's necessary to have in the set. I mean, no one's really going to play it ever, I don't think. I agree. I mean, unless like Hunter and Freeze Mage get like really, really popular, or like, you're going for a lineup that like just crushes Freeze Mage because Conquest is still going to exist. I don't think it'll see very much. It's pretty bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Dog too, though. I like that it's less swinging than Kazan. That's the one thing I'll say about it. Kazan is like, the issue with it is if it ever hits, the Kazan player just wins the game.
Yeah.
It's like so powerful, but this is like a better way to do it. I think more toned down.
Yeah, stealing Freezing Mage and Mirror Entity usually is GG.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, because I remember back when, mid-range Hunter was a thing, like in the days of Undertaker. That's when I actually started making that card creation show that I ran like a while back every week. And the first episode was a pilot about anti-secret tech. The first one we came up with was a 3-mana 3/3 legendary that stole a secret, like exactly like Kazan. And the second one was a 4-mana 3/3 that ended up eating the secrets and getting +1/+1. And it's like there's only so many bad effects you can make. No, not at all, because there's only so many ways you can like delete secrets from the game, and as soon as you start realizing that, like, Kazan Mystic is so broken, it would have to be, if ever there were like a dominance of secrets, it would have to be a legendary, or like have such shitty stats that it's just unplayable or does nothing else. But it's not the case right now, and so secret decks have always kind of been kept in check anyway, because they're like Ice Block, 1 secret and I'm dead when you time it. But for decks like Secret Paladin, like, Kazan is fine, but you wouldn't tech against Secret Paladin with Kazan.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kept it in check for a while now. But given that Secret Pally dies afterwards, yeah, I think it would be a problem. I'm just happy we have an alternative that's not
I think
as OP.
Kazan was kept in check too, just because they were decks that don't have secrets that are strong.
Right, of
too.
course.
Like Druid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's a big reason too.
I mean, even in the Winter Championship, we saw like a ton of Kazan. And I mean, the Kazan wasn't really ever used except for getting lethal against Freeze Mage. Like, that was the only thing
Well, yeah,
that was used.